that we are going to touch on. I will explain each one first, and then I will give you examples for each one. Now the first one is the product property for exponents. And what this is saying is when you multiply x to the third times x to the fifth for the product. This is the product because we're multiplying two x's together. What are you going to do to the exponents? Well, you are going to leave the base, and in this case the base is the x, the same. So you keep the base the same, and then you add the exponents together. So it's 3 plus 5, or x raised to the 8th power. So there's your first property. That's the product property for exponents. The second property we're going to look at is the quotient property for exponents. And this is saying when you divide two x's raised to a power, so you have x to the 9th divided by x to the 6th, it's the same base, which is your x, you leave the x alone, and now you subtract the exponents. So it's 9 minus 6, or x raised to the 3rd power. So to sum it up, when you have your product property for exponent, the base is the same, you add the exponent. When you have the quotient property for exponents, the base remains the same and you subtract the exponents. The third property is raising a product to a power. For example, if you have x times y raised to the 3rd power, this is telling you that you are going to take the x and raise it to the 3rd power, and you're going to take the y and raise it to the 3rd power. So you take each factor and raise it to the exponent. Let's look at raising a quotient to a power. Now if you have x divided by y, all raised to the 3rd power, it is telling you that you are going to take the numerator, x, and raise that to the 3rd power, and you're going to take the denominator, y, and raise that to the 3rd power. So, as you can see now, raising a product to a power, you take each factor and raise them to the power. And then raising a quotient to a power, you take each variable and raise that to the designated power. And now we have one last law, and this is going to be raising a power to a power. And when you raise a power to a power, this means if you had x squared and you raised the x squared to a power, what are we going to do with the exponents? You multiply them. So when you have a power, in this case x to the 2nd, raised to a power, to the 7th power, you take and you multiply the exponents together. And you're going to end up with x to the 14th power.